The Earlham women's basketball team down to their final 2 games of the season. They'll play tonight on the road at Bluffton, and then they'll be back on the road coming up on Saturday. Head coach Janel Iden, by the way, was kind enough to get a win while I was not here this past Saturday. It's nice of you to do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, not only did you get a win, when I was looking at the numbers, and you and I talked about this before we started the interview, that you buckled down defensively in the second half, you out-rebounded them, and you shot extremely well. Now, in the first time you've beaten them in 11 years, what was the key all of a sudden?
I don't really know. It was really like after halftime. The second half was the half of basketball. We were down 9 going into the half. We had the first quarter, I was like, here we go. It's really going to be a 120 to something game. I was like, buckle up. I told some people, I'm like, buckle up. It could get up there pretty high today. And a game where I expected it to be high was actually held a team below their average and stuff. I thought they rose to the occasion. One thing I challenged them, I said, this is your last time you guys as a team are going to play on this court. And I think sometimes you hit a court a little bit differently, and it kind of clicks a little bit. But hitting shots definitely help. We didn't take as many shots as they did, but we hit when converted on a possession. And then the out-rebounding, particularly Maya in the second half, just, we were making them one and done and going the other way on them. And out-rebounded a pretty decent rebounding team and shot, very well from the field, and all that combined, equated to the win for us.
Okay, what would you say that you were most impressed with the out-rebounding them? Again, they're not a bad rebounding team. That you ended up shooting 59%. That you shut them down in the second half the way you did. What impressed you the most? If I gave you only get to choose one now.
That's easy. 24 points in the second half.
Yeah, that's big.
You give up 28 in one quarter in the first quarter, and then you only 28 in the second half. And this team has been averaging 75 to get in the 80s and 90s, and we've obviously struggled all year on the defensive end, and that was the biggest key for us, that we actually buckled down in the second half.
Okay, now I asked you last week, and I'm going to ask you again. Other than the first half, and maybe that first quarter, was this perhaps the most complete game that you've played for a long time? The entire season was a little bit closer to your liking? I know coaches are never satisfied, so.
It was one of our better games for the year. I don't know. Even in the third quarter, we were still going back and forth, and I was just, if my brain was speaking out loud, it would probably been entertaining. I was like, like just like that kind of thoughts, because it still wasn't real pretty in the third quarter. I thought the fourth quarter was where we pulled away. So to say it was a complete game, I think, is false. And I wasn't happy in the first quarter at all. In the second quarter, I thought the reboundings was not good, and the defense was non-existent. So to say it was a complete game would be false. But the second half, and specifically the fourth quarter, probably the best quarter of basketball we played all year.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take that. As I said, most coaches are never happy most of the time. I mean, you generally will find you like this area, didn't like that area. But you mentioned to me that at halftime you kind of lit into them a little bit, and that doesn't happen very often. You seem to be a soft-spoken person for the most part. You're redheaded like me. I was called a hothead earlier today, so I understand where you're coming from. But you had to get a message across to them at halftime. I'm not going to ask you what you said to them, but you must have said something to them that got him. You said a little bit ago that something must have clicked right there, knowing that maybe the reality for a lot of these players is it was their last game here at Earlham College and the last time they'll play on this floor.
Yeah, I mean, I always present the stats to them to back up my whatever I am lighting them up about it or whatever, and tell them where it is, and the proof is in the pudding sometimes. I was upset, like I said, with the rebounding, not the box out. I was really upset going into halftime. I didn't even like usually do my offense, defense, and breakdown. It just came down to a couple things. I said getting these stops, communicating, and in terms of boxing out, we weren't catching a body. And offensively, I thought our passes were weak. That was really the 4 things I remember just jotting down. And usually I have a whole list, and that was a lot shorter than usual. And I really wrote into them. And then, like I said, I hit a chord with them. I'm like, this is seriously your last time as a team stepping on this court together. You would never step on this court again and go through this call again and walk out there. And I think sometimes that helped. And I reiterated that in a different tone going into the fourth quarter about beating. I didn't know what the last time we beat them. I said it's probably been 15 years. Yeah. And I think we just kind of turned it up a notch. And sometimes when you hit an emotional chord, things kind of go a different direction. And I think that's what kind of happened for us. It wasn't no special potion or anything like that. We just, emotionally were ready to go and actually kicked it up one more gear.
It's always not one. I shouldn't say that. Sometimes it's not about the X's and O's. It's just get out there and get the job done.
Correct. Sure. I mean, we took some shots. I was like, okay, but they went in and stuff too. And I did think we executed much better in the second half offensively and gave us looks, but we were hitting. Well, I think we were shooting 50-some% in the first half, so it wasn't necessary that we just lit up in the second half. Right. We just were also letting them shoot 50-some%. So I think they went down in the 30s or maybe high 20s in the second half, and that's honestly the difference in the game was just buckling down and playing defense. And a lot of people came in and contributed in that game. The scoring was a little bit more balanced. I thought Ashley Meadows, a freshman, gave us some decent minutes off the bench. Maya came off the bench and played 34 minutes and stuff. And I thought we, for the once, looked like we had a little bit of depth. And they didn't. They were injured, and they're already a small roster anyway. And we got one of the point guard fouled her out. That was key too, and trying to eliminate the key players as well.
Okay, now you have a tough one on your hands tonight. Mm-hmm. A Bluffton team that is playing well. They're playing for a conference championship. They're playing for an opportunity eventually, they hope, to get into the NCAA tournament. What do you expect in this one tonight?
It'll be hard. I'm not going to lie. The top 6 players, 6 of the better players in the conference. And they really, one of the weaknesses is they really only go 7 true deep, but those 7 are very, very good. We have to try to get some of them in foul trouble and try to get them off the court to help us, give us a chance. But it's a difficult game because they're matchup nightmares for us. They're better at us in every single position. They got an inside-out game, and there's a reason why they're one of the better teams in the nation right now. We will have to play a very, very good game. We have to go out there emotionally charged as well. Doing all the little things, and if we don't communicate, we're going to be in trouble. I'm mixing up the defense as a course a little bit, but not a whole lot. They're just a very dangerous team for us. So, and we're going to play well because I think we're going to be down a couple of players, and lacking depth is not going to be good for us either. So the people who maybe haven't played a lot of minutes are going to have to step up, or haven't played hardly any games might get their time tonight.
And that's the time to do it for sure. Now you play again Saturday, and that'll be the final game of the season for you guys. Talk about Saturday. I know you're focused on tonight, but what about Saturday?
I mean, I'm not going to take Mount St. Joseph easy. Obviously, the fun thing is we're going to 2 senior nights, so that's always kind of a little bit harder to go on a team that's playing their last home game. And then they're playing, obviously, both of these teams are playing for Bluffton Knight playing for the championship, Mount St. Joseph playing for a chance to get in the conference tournament, which I'm sure has been a long time for them. Sierra Phillips, the post that didn't play against us here last time, has been playing, so she will be back, and she's one of the better freshmen in the conference. We are, unless weather canceled it. We're not supposed to have Maya again on Saturday because of the National Guard. So we'll be down, their big players back and our big players gone. And, you do the math. But it'll be a challenging game. My challenge to the team this week has been to be spoiled victors. I'm trying to, knock off Bluffton from some of their goals and trying to knock out Mount St. Joseph from their aspirations as well.
Sometimes that's a lot of fun to do.
I mean, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I told them that, and I think there's a little bit of pressure off. Unfortunately, everybody in the conference is fighting for a bid right now but us. And this was the year if we were going to make it. This would have been the year. But we have nothing to lose. So every game for us is our own little mini championship in its own way.
All right, Coach, good luck in the next couple of games, okay?
Thank you very much.
Of course, again, they'll be on the road tonight and again on the road coming up on Saturday. You can check out the Earlham website if you want more information on the two games, previews, and much more. And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to the coach again next week and get her thoughts about what's coming up for the next season. Thanks for being with us once again, one-on-one with head coach Janel Iden.